Hello, everyone. I wanted to do a really quick reading to see why. Why did 128 Democrats vote against the impeachment? I mean, I have some ideas of maybe why, but I want to just let go of my ideas and see what comes through. What is the real reason? Or maybe there's more than one reason. And I'm using the Golden Dreams Lenormand because there's extra cards. Okay, right there. Okay, so at the heart of the reading, I think there was an issue with the arch. It is a card of new beginnings and transformation, but you have to let go of so much to get over to the other side, to cross over that threshold. And there could be, it's a card that does have to do with resistance and the past. I mean, I would have loved if they just stood up to voice, and let us know. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll let us know why they voted that way. So, okay, the book in this situation could be they have something hidden. Maybe they do have something in the works. The letter, that would have to do with votes. The snake has to do with complications and betrayals. I'm sure that they knew that there's no way that it would pass because there is that need for, we've got the crooked GOP in charge of both branches. Okay, and then the keyhole. Yeah, so this is the important part. They knew getting across would be so complicated. The votes, now with the book too, so the votes would be too complicated, but with the book, this does have that connotation of something hidden, or maybe they were just examining all the votes. Because this is a card of facts, you do your research and then you have facts. It's a card of truth and studying. So then you're making an educated, assumption, I suppose you would call it. So also that it's a card that has to do with the unknown. But Knighting to the Moon, this card has to do with their reputation, but also their honor with the public, most of all. They also, this can be a card of like being in the fantasy realm and being insane, and it's what you're recognized for. And I'm wondering if maybe they just didn't want to get into that darkness that would waste a lot of taxpayer dollars. The cross is a huge burden, but it's also self-responsibility. It's a card of suffering and grief and, guilt and karma. It's also a card of faith. It's also a card of pessimism, and maybe they just didn't want to drain, I can't say that. Maybe they just didn't want to put the drain on the system. But there's an important solution. So I'm wondering if they're working on something in the background, because there's loyalty here with the dog. There's protection with the dog. There's helpfulness. This is so interesting. Yeah, because their ability to defend us is compromised and complicated by the betrayal of the GOP. And Yeah, maybe just too many detours and complications. Then again, maybe it's just their resistance. The letter is definitely about the vote. Maybe it was the way that the text was written. There could be that too. Huh. Okay, so with the clouds, there's a detachment. They're lacking clarity when we have this card. It can be, a shadow side, or maybe just a delay, and they're waiting until things clear up. They're thinking about, midterms, getting the House or the Senate or both back. Let's keep going a little bit. So the storks, it's change and improvement. With the ring, there's commitment, so they couldn't get the commitment from all of them. The anchor is tied to the letter. Yeah, so they literally could not get the votes, of course. There's that. The lilies is about wisdom, some type of wisdom, and with it mirroring the anchor card, this would be the elderly, the ones that have been there for years and they know how things work. I mean, even Jamie Raskin signed it, and he's the one that, he was in charge of the other two impeachments. He was impeached twice. Trump was impeached twice. He just wasn't removed, and that's on the GOP. Everything that's going on now is all on the GOP. That's just the way it is. And there's karma. There's a price to pay for that. And that's what the cross is about here. So, okay. This is literally the house. Well, it's the foundation too, but it's the house. So the Democratic House wouldn't commit, I'm thinking. Yeah. It's a house that went into confusion and uncertainty and wouldn't go for it, to rise above the situation and commit. So yeah, now with the keyhole, this card has to do with an ending, a change. It's also a card of inaction and doubt. It's a lot like the clouds. The difference with this card is that, you're having a hard time making a decision either way. But with this one, the difference is, like this one, with the clouds, you have to get out of your confusion and then things will clear up, or you're waiting for things to get better. With the keyhole, you have to let go of something to get through that so that something new can come in. And that was burdened by the snake and the insanity of the GOP. That's interesting. Let me do one more little layer around and see. Yeah, so the tower in the Lenormand is all about the legal system. So again, here it is, the legalities of the security of our government. This is the government card. This would be the institution of our government. It's also our SCOTUS card. So they knew that no matter what, it would go to SCOTUS. And they knew SCOTUS has given him immunity. So there's, right? I mean, it's kind of it's a lost cause. Yeah, they knew they would be blocked by SCOTUS, and that it would take a very, very long time. It would be a huge obstacle that would take a very, very long time. Yeah, okay. And then the rider, it has to do with movement. Movement and news, action. But the bear has to do with the power and the protection of all the different branches of government, with SCOTUS up here screwing things up. That's why they're in all of this doubt and uncertainty. And I think that with the snail over here, again, the obstacle of SCOTUS, but then with the snail over here is like they're waiting for time to be more flexible, to be more productive. They realize that there's no need to rush, but they have to use their own strength right here with the bear, and it's going to take time. The lilies is also a card of taking some time as well. It's a very slow process. So I'm thinking that they're gearing up for the midterms, and they didn't want anything else. Overall, I still would have liked to see them stand up, right? But overall, this looks to me like they really want to focus on the future, the midterms. They knew SCOTUS would knock it all down and complicate everything, so why bother? And maybe it has to do with saving taxpayer dollars even. Yeah, and also the timing of the whole situation with the keyhole here and the archway. These are major timing cards, as well as the snail, and I feel like it was brought in at the wrong time. They needed to, what's his name? Al Green, I think, should have waited until after the big ugly bill is passed. And because they've been focusing on fighting against that, on top of blocking, confirmations that Trump's trying to get through. There's just so much darkness that it's overwhelming. I still would have loved to see them stand up, but I can see it's all about, because SCOTUS would change it because of their stupid immunity law they put in, and it wouldn't make it over the over the threshold anyway, because SCOTUS is protecting the guilty monster, and there's that darkness until we can get that cleared up, right? Moving forward with SCOTUS and the position that they're in is just not going to happen. It's dangerous. They're just always going to cut what they want to cut because SCOTUS is protecting him. So yeah, so the question really should be is, when do we start impeachment proceedings on the Supreme Court? Because they're absolutely in bed with Trump. Harlan Crow connected to Clarence Thomas. There should be impeachment proceedings against SCOTUS. Why is that not happening? That's what we need to write our Congress people about. We're supposed to just wait for these jerks to just, fall off the mortal coil. Okay, that's it. I'm going to get this uploaded, and join me live tomorrow at noon if you can. Or noon. Why do I keep saying that? I'm sorry. I'm so used to it. It used to be noon. It's 11 a.m. Pacific now. So join me if you can. I have some great questions from the community posts, and we'd love to have you hanging out with me. Okay, bye, you guys.